Hey everybody, Joe here.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And this is Candid at the Movies. This time we'll be talking about the movie Dumb Money that we had the privilege of seeing thanks to Regal and their Monday Mystery Movie Night. So yes, it is Monday. We just got back from the movie. And Dumb Money is based on a true story. And Dee is going to give you the nerded out version of it because she had really been wanting to see this movie very much.
I had, it's based on a book, and the book actually produced a documentary on Netflix called Eat the Rich, the GameStop drama. And I highly recommend it because it actually explains in greater detail the shortage and what was so wrong with it and why Wall Street had such an issue with the GameStop people. This movie is a dramatization for the casual viewer. The documentary is for those who like the deep dive. I was really looking forward to this, but no, I highly recommend this Monday Mystery Movie. I think it's coming to you said Apple Plus.
Yeah.
When it comes out, definitely give it a watch. It's really good. The soundtrack is actually amazing.
Shout out to Cardi, Megan,
Kendrick Lamar,
and the list goes on and
on. The people that they chose, the actors that played the roles were really good.
There's too many to name.
There's too many to name.
Like everybody was a star.
It was great to be like, oh, I recognize that face.
Yeah.
Oh, I recognize that face too.
So like normally I try to keep it at 3.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. There's too many. Yeah, it's really good, and it just goes into detail about how this really is a class war of people, everyday people who decided to buy into this stock. And they just kept buying, and then all of a sudden Wall Street took notice, and then they changed the rules and pissed a lot of people off. They ended up going up to Congress.
And there's a reason why it was called Dumb Money.
Oh, yeah.
Because what the stockbrokers, the professional stockbrokers, would call these individual investors were dumb money. You know, because they would, invest in these things and they would try to do a short sale or like a type of thing where they bet against the stock, and they would make money off of these dumb investors. So they would say like, how did you get rich? Oh, just off of dumb money. Mm-hmm. And that's what they would call it. Well, they weren't so dumb this time.
No, not
Thank you, Reddit. Thank you, YouTube, all that.
All of the social media. And so for me, it was an interesting viewing because this is recent history. Like, I lived this. I remember the news broadcast about this. I remember, because this was also during the height of the pandemic too.
Yeah.
And so they also show that in the film. But for me, it was really interesting. Like, I lived this. This is not ancient history to me. This was just a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. I enjoyed myself.
This was at a time where I stopped paying attention because I used to be such like a politics glutton. Like I would just look at the news. Like I was big into politics because I was going to be a journalist and stuff when I was growing up. But then 2020 hit, and 2020 hit me particularly very hard. And at that point, I stopped. I'm still at the point where I don't really pay attention to what's going on. I don't care anymore because life is short and fragile. So
the work that I do requires me to pay attention to things. So.
Yeah. I pay attention to a few things. Like when it comes down to money, I pay attention to that.
Right.
But politics and all that, y'all got it. But anyway, I think that this movie was a great depiction, a great dramatization of what actually happened. Because again, we did live through this, so this wasn't like ancient history. This was stuff that I remember happening, things that I recall seeing, even though I wasn't really paying that much attention at the time.
Congressional hearing.
Yeah, but it was great actors, obviously a great plot because again, was based off of a true story, and I think that. As far as when it comes down to like the cinematography and the way that they shot things in a specific way.
The way they frame things.
Yeah, they frame things in a very specific way so it would hit different. So, and they talked about how the PR people would try to come in and spruce things up and clean things up and make things look pretty for the people on YouTube, or not the people on YouTube, the hedge funds and all that stuff, because they had the kind of money to do that. But
like the fact there's an instance where she says where are you going to give your testimony? And the guy, Melvin Capital, is literally sitting in front of an extensive wine collection. And, you know, with wines, they showcase your wealth. For you to have that amount of vintage wines is a testament to your wealth. And it didn't even dawn upon him to like not sit there, because that's not a good look. It
was what gluttony looks like, and he didn't even realize that he was a glutton.
Dawn upon him.
So look, this is a little thing. Gluttony was not necessarily about how much you ate. It was about hoarding wealth. And back then, the only, like, in our culture, yes, watch what you eat. You need to watch your health and everything like that. But back then, the only way you were ever going to get fat is if you were rich, because that's the only way you was going to be able to eat that much. So that's basically what was happening. And it was like, called Eat the Rich.
Yeah, Eat the Rich.
Yeah. So, D, what would you give?
What I would give this?
Yeah, the rate.
Oh, I would give it an A. It was extremely well done, and they even towards the end they showed.
I'm surprised at you.
You're going A plus.
Yep.
Okay, then I'll go A plus too. I didn't want.
Don't let me influence you. You gave it A.
Well, I didn't want it to be so in me being so influenced by the documentary, because I really enjoyed the documentary. But I would give this an A plus. It's
coming
so
in,
good.
not even watching the documentary. I saw parts of it because you were watching it, but I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, A plus for me.
A plus.
It's a really well done film.
And to go back to my previous point, they even showed like you win some and you lose some, and there was a particular person in real life that lost everything, but they're still holding. They still have diamond hands.
Yeah.
Even though everything is screaming, go the other direction. So.
Right. So anyway, I've been Joe. This is Dee. She's with me pretty often, you know, considering that she's my wife and all. Y'all have a fantastic day, and please check out the movie. And thank you again, Regal, for doing these mystery movies, because I'm surprised often. So love y'all. Y'all take care and have a fantastic day.
Bye.
Peace.